Yeah.
The first example is not directly related to human trafficking, but in my view, they remain relevant in how they point to patterns among the elite class. But do the apparent patterns we think we're discovering ultimately have a benign explanation? Are these images showing a genuine motif of Masonic influence? A new form of communication waiting for us to take notice? Or are we applying meaning to something that doesn't exist? The fact that I can't say for sure is perhaps the most perplexing.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the.
I mean, it is kind of weird that everyone's doing that. Is it not?
They're all doing the same three things. It's either this, or just this, covering their eye in some way, shape, or form.
The one eye. Like, they're all doing
that
it.
That means
That's,
something.
Yeah, it does, dude.
It's not a coincidence.
Back, motherfuckers.
Back. We got our guest here, Jerry. What's up, buddy? He's not taking the microphone.
Yeah, it's funny. So did you ever get rid of the other one?
No, I still got him. I'm gonna bring him in here. On my vacation, I'm gonna do a little rearranging of the studio here, and get the other lizard in here.
Is he still an asshole, or?
Yeah, he's still an asshole. But
what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, what can you do? I can't speak lizard. This one's chill though. Like the other one wouldn't do this.
Yeah, some animals are like that, Yeah.
So hopefully he doesn't shit on my sleeve.
Oh, dude, that's the first thing I thought of when you had that on your sleeve.
Yo, these fucking lizards, when they shit, man, it smells bad.
And it looks like puke.
Dude, it's fucking crazy how bad it smells.
Well, because think of what they eat, so.
Well, they just eat salad and crickets.
Yeah, you ever hear? You ever fucking like smell a vegetarian fart? It smells like it smells awful.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, bro. I mean, farts are brutal in general, but usually things that are usually an animal, if it's plant-based, its farts smell worse.
Yeah, man. Like I can, because one of the lizards is near where I enter my house, and I can smell the shit when I walk in the door. I'm like, great.
Oh,
it's like this big, It's like, what the fuck?
This little pellet.
Yeah.
That's wild. But all right, Lucas, next up we have a documentary called Elite Human Trafficking.
Oh, man.
And it's about, really, the name. But this is about elite human trafficking. It's a conspiracy. It also overlaps with the last documentary we watched. What was it? Out of Shadows.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It overlaps with all of that.
Okay.
But the focus on this is human trafficking. This is a Mouthy Buddha documentary. He's the one that made Pedogate, and this guy, like, he doesn't make a lot of documentaries. He doesn't go on any podcasts. He stays super fucking in the shadows, but he makes, in my opinion, the best conspiracy documentaries.
Okay.
So let's go. Let's get this shindig on the motherfucking road.
Mouthy Buddha on Rumble.
So here's one thing, right? You're gonna see here. I didn't realize, like, I knew Ghislaine Maxwell. I heard, like, her father was big, but this shows like how much power she really had in the world. Like, it's pretty wild.
Okay.
So, right, this is when she was arrested. So this is when she was getting asked questions. The attorney asked, "Are you a citizen of the United States?" She says yes.
A citizen of the world.
Then "Are you also a citizen of England?" She says yes. "Are you a citizen of any other land?" And she replies with Terramar.
What is that?
Have you ever heard of Terramar, Lucas?
No.
Yeah, guess what? None of us motherfucking have, motherfucker. So here, we'll keep going. So now look, it's going to show you what Terramar is right here.
I'm delighted today for the first time to be able to have the Weather Channel have a look at what's happening for the first time in history, actually, in the high seas.
Thank you so much, Gillian. And we've got wonderful new technology here at the Weather Channel, and we are able to deliver a point forecast for the Arctic high seas. Temperatures will, for the most part, only get up into the negative 20s Celsius through the entire week.
On July 2nd, 2020, an arrest was made.
FBI agents arrested Ghislaine Maxwell yesterday, nearly 1 year to the day after Epstein was arrested.
All signs pointed to this particular incident being the story of our time.
I think a lot of people are wondering, the big question overall is, what does Ghislaine Maxwell know about what Jeffrey Epstein is alleged to have done?
Unfortunately, most of the public opinion in the U.S. is controlled by media corporations. So as soon as the coverage of Ghislaine's arrest ended, social media stopped discussing it, and the coronavirus took center stage.
Dow is set to open about 15 seconds from now. It is expected to surge on positive coronavirus vaccine news.
Yo, could this guy have any more scarier face?
I know.
You can watch the big
Look at
board
him.
as it
He
opens.
doesn't look real.
Yeah, it's like, could you have picked anyone who looks less reptilian? Are there anybody that looks less of a reptile that we could use on TV?
This morning.
But among all the gossip and brief media coverage, a crucial aspect of Maxwell's story has gone largely unnoticed, the implications of which, and the groups that surround it, are as vast as they are mysterious. This is Ghislaine Maxwell's Terramar Project. According to the New York Times, Terramar was a, quote, opaque organization that had no offices and gave no grants to other organizations. And shortly after Jeffrey Epstein was arrested, Terramar officially announced their closure. But what was the Terramar Project? At first glance, it would appear that the now infamous Ghislaine Maxwell had a soft spot for the environment.
We have created 5 gigantic gyres of plastic and garbage that swirl in the open ocean. This is the largest fishing net. It fits 12 Boeing 747s in its mouth. We don't know very much about the ocean, actually, it turns out. Less than about 1% of it has been explored. So however you feel about the creatures in the ocean, the more of them that we have, the better, the healthier, and the more resilient is our ocean.
One can easily agree with the sentiment of protecting the environment. But as you're about to see, Maxwell's Terramar Project isn't just about, quote, protecting the oceans, but controlling and owning them.
So the ocean is the next frontier. It's the next big debate. It's the next big grab of space.
The person who has been the inspiration behind the Sustainable Oceans Alliance, who has something called Terramar project. She controls the oceans around the world. And therefore, I invite my dear friend, Ghislaine Maxwell, to tell us how we can own the oceans. You have 3 seconds.
I'll do my best.
Ownership and control of the world's oceans carries with it all kinds of possibilities. Most of the human population has no idea what's going on in the depths of the sea. Maxwell, however, knows a thing or two about the high seas.
Started when I was a little girl. I grew up watching Jacques Cousteau on TV and became mesmerized with the oceans. It led to me becoming a deep worker submersible pilot.
But surely Ghislaine's ties to child trafficking have no relation to her, quote, Terramar project. But this perspective begins to break down as soon as one...
What's that?
I just said, or does it?
And we remember this classic photo.
Yeah.
browses the individuals and groups associated with the organization. According to Maxwell's recent testimony...
Hey, but you know what? Even with the short hair, she looks pretty dope right here.
Yeah, she doesn't look bad. For a
Jeffrey Epstein
trafficker.
supplied her with funding for Terramar.
Yeah, for a human trafficker.
But that's obvious, right? But if we move along, we see that this picture shows Maggie Nixon with Barack Obama. The same Maggie Nixon pictured here. Who was in a film that was created by oceanographer Sylvia Earle.
Ever since I met Sylvia, I was absolutely enamored with her. Just really inspired with her love of the ocean and of exploring and creating like short films for each hope spot.
Great to see you.
You know, there's so many of your constituents who are out there that most people don't even know about.
I had a question for you, and that is, what's it like going down 1,000 meters?
I'd love to show you.
Huh? I mean, I've done some diving, but I think right around 100, I kind of say, okay, it's time to turn back.
This is the same Sylvia Earle that in early 2019 said, quote, "I am thrilled to be a founding citizen of Terramar." Maggie Nixon was the granddaughter of Agnes Nixon, creator of the soap opera All My Children.
To you, Agnes.
And is the daughter of Sarah Nixon, who can be seen here tagged with a group of apparent friends. Notice the name Sarah and the username 3 Ring Circus. As you can see, the username checks out.
See, this is what I like that Mouthy Buddha and his team do. They're like, who's this person that's tagged here? Let's go in this. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're very good with their, like, research.
Yeah.
Like, he also did Pedogate. You saw that one, right?
Yeah, I think we watched that, yeah.
Because we can verify that 3 Ring Circus on Instagram is in fact Sarah Nixon. But what's the big deal with this picture? It's certainly not suspicious to hang out with friends. Well, given that I've already been kicked off YouTube, now I can show you who Sarah Nixon appears to be having a lot of fun with.
Oh, shit. Epstein. Oh, fuck. Whoa.
That's getting clipped. Your reaction's getting clipped right there.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, is your mind blown or what, bro?
Whoa. That's, I mean, for those of you that don't know, that's a big motherfucking deal right there.
Dude, yeah, James Alefantis, bro.
Yeah, that's the Pizzagate guy.
Yeah, that's the Pizzagate guy. That was such a good reaction. I'm so pumped.
Yeah.
Of Comet Ping Pong in Washington, D.C. James, thank you so much for being here.
This insane conspiracy idea filled with just lies about this impossible international conspiracy of human traffickers involving Hillary Clinton.
It goes without saying that Alefantis surrounds himself with the highest of the elite class, many of whom mired in patterns of apparent Satanism and human trafficking.
Yeah, here,
a rabbit hole I won't go down again.
And just so everybody knows, this guy just runs a pizza joint.
Allegedly.
Yeah, but it's like, that's the story.
Mm-hmm.
Is he runs a pizza joint.
An innocent owner of a pizza place.
but he's chilling with all these higher ups.
Mm-hmm. All these elites.
But he runs a pizza joint.
Yeah, just a popular pizza joint in Washington.
Okay. Now watch clips of all these celebrities talking about how they love eating pizza together.
Mm-hmm.
And once you get the code, it's really fucking disturbing.
And you remember the last documentary, you didn't even know about the spirit cookings.
Yeah, I know. That was some wild shit too.
Like them doing all that, like that's all very symbolic. Like obviously it is cake that I don't really think it's humans, but it's just like on Bohemian Grove when they burn that body in effigy. Like it's the symbolism of it all, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, this all overlaps with Pedogate.
And with the exception, however, of one of Elephantis' friends, Matt Hollenby. Matt is the program director of the Weiss Foundation, another, quote, nonprofit dedicated to protecting the environment, most notably the oceans. The Weiss Foundation receives its grant money from Oceana Incorporated, which is owned by the Pew Charitable Trust. And who runs the Pew Charitable Trust?
Tamara Lozado. Tamara, welcome.
Thank you.
Tamara is currently the Senior Vice President at the Pew Charitable Trusts, where she manages government relations for Pew.
Tamara, why don't you give your opening presentation?
Great. Thank you very much. And great to see everybody. Thank you for giving me a job.
Tamara Lozado made an appearance in John Podesta's leaked emails. Here she writes to John Podesta, quote, "We plan to heat the pool, so a swim is a possibility. Bonnie will be Uber service to transport Ruby Emerson and Meve Luzado, 11, 9, and almost 7. So you'll have some further entertainment, and they will be in that pool for sure."
Wow.
The way you perceive this...
So let's just read that one again. We plan to heat the pool, so a swim is a possibility. Bonnie will be Uber service to transport Ruby, Emerson, and Maeve Lozado. So that's got to be like our grandkids. 11, 9, and almost 7. So you'll have some further entertainment, and they will be in the pool for sure. That was in one of the Podesta leaked emails where we saw, I found a map that's pizza related. Is this yours? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Obama spent 36 G's on taxpayer money to fly in hot dogs from Chicago.
Yeah.
And then there's
Hot
this fucking
dogs. Yeah.
Then there's this here.
We plan to heat the pool, so a swim is a possibility. Bonnie will be Uber service to transport Ruby Emerson and Meve Luzado, 11, 9, and almost 7. So you'll have some further entertainment, and they will be in that pool for sure. The way you perceive this email might depend on how you perceive Evie's Crib, a family blog that was ran by the same Tamara Luzado and a related blog called Jack's Place. Notice the labels on Tamara's blog, which are used to help visitors find what they want. To name a few: baby Ambien, bones, filth, parental manipulation, psychopath, tranquilizers, slurp. In this post, Tamara writes, Evie will be joined in childcare by her buddy Jack, who she links here. This image on Jack's Place shows their baby with a sensor over his privates. Ken and Stephanie, who apparently ran this page, comment below, quote, "Unrated versions of this photo available only to premium subscribers." Jokes or otherwise, this is still more of the...
Yo, I will say this, and I'm very pro free speech and things like that, and I understand comedy, but I don't get like the jokes like that if they claim that that's a joke.
Well, here's the thing. It's like, that's a joke if you're like 14 or like a little kid that like doesn't know.
Yeah, it doesn't get it.
Really like what's funny or what's supposed, like an old lady making those jokes. That's something different.
Yeah, that's fucked up. It's very fucked up.
Yeah.
The same deviant debauchery associated with infants and children coming from this group. And by this group, I mean the single most powerful people in the world. These families belong to vast, extended genealogies, and they fund and control the same nonprofit organizations. For example, among Oceania Inc.'s board of directors include the Rockefeller family, a family almost always found
That guy looks like a lizard person.
near the most peculiar and powerful.
He looks like he should be like, wow.
Yeah, his mouth opens up like
Yeah.
4 times its size.
Yeah, it's all just sharp fucking teeth.
Historical events and organizations. The Terramar Project and those associated with it is like a who's who of the world's global elite. Next, you're going to tell me that Terramar is associated with the Clinton dynasty, right?
Oh, shit. Ah. So the Clintons are involved too.
Hey, this might be like an elitist, like.
Well, that's why it's called elite human trafficking, Lucas.
Well, I'm just saying the Terramar thing. It means by land and sea. I looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Citizen of land and sea or whatever. So they're probably part of like maybe some type of break off civilization.
Well, yeah, like you remember how I told you the theory that there's a lot more land than what they're telling us?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's like maybe other islands, other continents that we just don't know. We only know what they fucking tell us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like,
or even just I mean, it's totally possible for them to have their own civilization, but also living amongst us here.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like they go by their own rules, their own codes that are secret. You can't tell the muggles or the common citizens or whatever.
Yeah, the peasants.
Yeah, the peasants, the regular folk.
Oh my god, I just saw that thing crawling on your arm and I was like, what the fuck is that?
Oh, this has been here the whole time. You haven't noticed?
I know, I forgot. I'm stoned. I forgot it was there. And then when I just saw it, that really just scared the shit out of me.
I'm gonna have to throw
Sorry.
him back in the thing. It's all
Go
good.
ahead. Go ahead. You want to get him off your back? Well, while you
No, I'll wait till he fucking. If he's too much, I'll throw him back in his sling. But it's totally possible for them to have their own little break off civilization, but they kind of go by their own rules. I mean, look at elitists. How come during a war, like for instance, how come during a war they don't take out like government officials and stuff like that? I feel like there's like rules to it, like I don't know. I'm just kind of, shooting from the hip as we do this episode.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing, bud? But it's totally possible for them to have their own rules, but they live amongst us, and they got their own little like secret underground, not bunkers, but maybe even cities, or in the ocean there are these big floating cities that are just kept secret.
Yes,
I
agree.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Let me get back to this.
Military officer Scott Borgerson was listed as a board member of the Terramar Project in 2013.
So I'd like to begin with the topic of public-private partnerships.
Scott is the CEO of Cargo Metrics, a maritime innovation company attempting to, quote, digitize global shipping. The word maritime refers to seafaring commercial or military activity, and, quote, maritime transport has to do with the transport of goods or people via waterways. What separates Scott's maritime transport methods from others is its focus on artificial intelligence with the goal of creating fully autonomous giant industrial self-driving ships, with particular focus on the international, quote, race for the Arctic.
So the Arctic again is becoming central as the ice recedes, opens up these oil and gas resources and the potential for shipping shortcuts as well. I think that there's little clandestine activity happening in the Arctic, but the truth is we don't really know because the United States and Canada aren't really sure what ships are transiting there now. But I think it's a bit of a stretch to say that Al-Qaeda or international terrorism or other transnational crimes such as drugs or human trafficking will go through the Arctic because it's such a long, arduous, still cold place.
Why is this group?
Yeah, of course, it's too dangerous for the human traffickers to go through there, so. Like we're supposed to just like believe that. Are you not paying attention?
No, I saw my Richard was fucking crawling around. But yeah, man. Hey, I mean, Antarctica could be that spot. Maybe Antarctica isn't as filled with ice as they say it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I'm just speculating. I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
On the Arctic Ocean.
I would say a master plan would work because it would force capital and finance ministers and governors to and presidents to get together to make the basic projects in the Arctic happen.
My normal day starts waking up quite early, maybe about 5 o'clock. Get my emails done in bed generally before Joan wakes up. Then I try to keep up with the news because we've got 1 or 2 organizations that are doing global issues, so it's very important I know what's going on in the world.
The Podesta leaks revealed that Richard Branson met often with his friends Hillary Clinton and John Podesta. In Branson's Necker Island is directly next to Epstein's Little St. James Island.
Ooh,
even The Guardian reported
coincidence
that Epstein had Branson's personal phone number. One section of Branson's Island is called the Elders' Temple, a location where many older and still powerful people meet up to discuss their, quote, philanthropic endeavors.
We hope you enjoy your flight with Virgin Atlantic and hope to be there in approximately 35. Are we there yet? Thank you and enjoy your holiday.
Branson's plane company is partnered with the Radcliffe Foundation, which is owned by Frank Giustra, who created the Elpida Project. The
interesting symbol for his company.
Yeah, no shit.
Logo of which bears a striking resemblance to the boy lover pedophile symbol.
I'd like to introduce some new students, Mr. Black and Mr. White.
No way! The government cheated, sent to steal our experiments for their secret covert operations.
No, dude, we're here for a righteous education and to meet babes.
Silly me. Wrong program. I tracked Bling Bling Boy to his parents' private island, 30 miles off the coast.
I've seen enough to be confident in the postulation that Terramar was set up to create a kind of separate society, or to facilitate one that already exists, a new world with its own laws, the locations of which scattered across several privately owned islands and clandestine sections of the Arctic Ocean, some of which could potentially be underwater. Human trafficking on a global scale, involving internationally connected intelligence agencies, politicians, and billionaires. I don't pretend to know why trafficking children seems to be a requisite for this elite group, but the reality that such an operation exists is undeniable to me. If the censorship regarding this topic should tell us anything, it's that we're almost certainly onto something unbelievably big. I truly believe this to be the case. I truly believe there are children currently surviving circumstances at the hands of evil, and suffering at a rate the likes of which I don't think I have the ability to properly imagine. And a large part of me feels my videos on this topic are not actually helping children currently in harm's way, but simply revealing how seemingly impossible it is to do so. While this could be true, our brief pain of feeling unable to help pales in comparison to the suffering endured by children all over the world who are at this very moment truly defenseless and truly suffering. If nothing else, what's most important is knowing in our hearts this is real and happening now, because it's only from there that progress can begin. So I ask, what do you think about Maxwell's Terramar project? What does your heart tell you?
Those two.
Faster!
Sir, it's all taken care of. I think you're really going to enjoy these two.
Lay down! Come on! Faster!
Hello, and welcome to the United States Embassy in Canberra. I'm John Barry, and this is my partner, Curtis Yee. And together, we're very honored to welcome you to our Art and Embassy collection here in our home. Come on in.
I think we've seen this.
You think you've seen what?
Well, haven't we? I think we've seen this like little bit before in the other documentary, right?
Yeah, like I said, it does overlap with the other ones.
Yeah.
Art and Embassies provides all the art for all the embassies around the world.
In 1953, a new office within the State Department was born, the Art in Embassies program.
The program recently commemorated its 50th anniversary, featuring special events and performances to showcase the important role that the program has played in furthering U.S. diplomacy through the visual arts.
Working to tell the story of what art and embassies means here at home and around the world.
The program alleges to be a vessel for improving U.S. foreign relations by promoting cultural diplomacy through art exhibitions. An extension of this program was created in 1986, the Foundation of Art and Preservation in Embassies, or FAPE.
The Foundation for Art and Preservation in Embassies is a private initiative that gathered together works to be shown in American embassies around the world.
But when scraping away the claims of altruism, one finds the central motif of these programs is about one thing: the ability to conduct tightly controlled shipments in and out of every U.S. embassy in the world without passing through conventional security channels. The groups associated with the program are among the wealthiest, most powerful in the world, some of whom indirectly or directly connected to illegal activity, including but not limited to human trafficking. The State Department, for example, is not without scandal.
Allegations that officials in the State Department have interfered with criminal investigations, even quashed some of those investigations.
In 2013, a damning internal memo claimed the State Department called off an investigation into allegations that U.S. Ambassador to Belgium Howard Gutman repeatedly traveled to overseas public parks in search of prostitutes, including minors.
I am angered and saddened by the baseless allegations that have appeared in the press, and to watch the 4 years I proudly served in Belgium smeared is devastating.
Ambassador Gutman in Belgium was ditching a security detail to engage prostitutes and to allegedly solicit sex with children.
We will not prejudge the outcome of an ongoing inquiry like that.
As to be expected, the State Department defended Gutman and was able to remove these allegations from the entirety of the report. The case against Gutman is just one in a series of supposed State Department cover-ups outlined in the memo. Other board members of FAPE include the Rockefeller family, the Estee Lauder family, Meryl Streep, and Democratic super lobbyist / owner of pedophilia child abuse art, Tony Podesta. In my view, the inclusion of these groups and individuals alone is enough to warrant a closer look at the intentions which reside behind these embassy programs. Today, Art in Embassies is run by Beth Dozeretz, famous for helping Bill Clinton pardon his fugitive hedge fund manager buddy, Mark Rich. During this time, Dozeretz was on the same panel as her longtime associate, John Podesta. Dozeretz is pictured here with the ineluctable James Alefantis.
Nice.
All people for Dozeretz to be brushing shoulders.
Yo, show me fucking the owner of Whitman Pizza with all these elites.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? Like even Papa John doesn't have these kind of photos with these.
I know, right?
Like what the hell, dude? This guy's supposed to just be owning a pizza shop.
Shoulders with. It's a man whose apparent connections to human trafficking are as compelling as they are abundant. Another notable figure on the program's payroll is the quote performance artist Marina Abramovic.
If you're doing pain and understanding that you can control the
spirit
pain,
meal lady.
Yeah, Spirit Cooker and the Witch.
Yeah.
So if she's on the board, I guess that's just has to be evil.
you can liberate yourself from the pain, then pain is okay.
Among the Pizzagate crowd, Marina is most well known for her leaked invitation to John Podesta, saying, quote, "I am so looking forward to the spirit cooking dinner at my place." According to Marina, although she claims she was being satirical here, one aspect of her spirit cooking, quote, ritual involved cutting with a, quote, knife deeply into
Yeah, dude, her art is all fucking evil and disgusting, just so you know.
I mean, I can see it.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be satirical?
Yeah, it's supposed to just hides under art. A lot of this shit, a lot of this satanic pedophile shit, they hide it under art. Like
Well, the Balenciaga thing.
Exactly. The Balenciaga thing. Exactly.
of your left hand and to eat the pain. Others have mirrored the defense that Marina is merely utilizing shock art to illustrate larger points about pain and suffering. But let's not forget, Marina is the same person who, in her memoir, claimed to have spoken with spirits who gave her premonitions. She claims to have predicted the attempted assassination of John Paul II and an earthquake in southern Italy. These do not sound like the machinations of a satirist, but the proclamations of a person who believes they are, for lack of a better word, a witch.
There she is with this fucking psychopath.
Here,
you know this guy?
Oh yeah, what was he doing? He was like fucking doing crazy surgeries or something,
On
right?
people, yeah,
You know, like anesthesia.
Yeah, I think it might show it.
Marina is spending intimate time with convicted pedophile and child trafficker John.
Yeah, and he got caught for having a child sex farm.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like they were like breeding children just to sell them.
John of God.
And this dude was on Oprah.
Wow.
John of God was a cult leader who performed, quote, spiritual surgeries without a license.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, I'll just say, look away if nobody wants to. You know what I'll do? I'll do this. Hold on. Oh no, that didn't. That's not going to work.
It's all right. You can play it.
Okay, just don't look, Lucas. It's okay. It's okay. You'll be fine.
They were unbelievably brutal. The following video is available to purchase on Vimeo, so it's not breaking any TOS here. But it is disturbing.
Sorry, bud.
I think it's important to watch one of these operations with the context of knowing that this man, John of God,
what
happened?
Oh my God.
Normal.
Oh my God.
breeding for
I just hear you saying,
women
"Oh my God,
existed
I'm not looking at shit."
I fast forward. All right, we're good. It's good.
for the sole purpose.
I can't believe what I just saw right there, though.
Yeah, I think I saw it on the other one.
And the journalist who broke this story was Sabrina Bittencourt.
So remember the last documentary? They talked about how she reported this, and she reported on his human trafficking farms, and then she turned up dead. Remember?
Oh, okay.
A gente já descobriu que existe uma rede de tráfico de crianças, tráfico de bebês há mais de 20 anos, feita de forma completamente organizada e com muitos cúmplices. A gente tem recolhido depoimentos, relatos adotivas dessas crianças que foram vendidas entre 20 mil e 50 mil dólares na Europa e nos Estados Unidos e na Austrália, em fazendas, em lugares remotos em Goiás e no norte de Minas, que serviam de matrizes para a criação, para ficarem grávidas, para entregar esses bebês que eram vendidos e depois eram mortas.
Soon after this video, Sabrina was found dead in what local authorities ruled a suicide. But we both know she did not kill herself.
Oh, shit.
According to the Department of State.
But like she mentioned, like if they've got these slave farms, shit like this, they have to be on islands that they just don't tell us are there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Like there's some coordinates that we just don't know about, and we're not probably allowed to, maybe it's somewhere out in like international water where we can't travel.
I think we were talking about this. I mean, in the Pacific, there's just so many islands out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like humans haven't been to all of them. You go to like when in the area of the Philippines down to Indonesia and even out more,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are thousands and thousands of islands just in the Philippines, just in Indonesia, that whole area, used to be a landmass at one point, who knows, man?
The artist Jeff Koons collaborated with Art and Embassies in 2012.
You have a sense of transcendence taking place here.
And now, do you remember who this guy is?
No.
They mentioned him in the last documentary. Remember where
Popeye,
they just said how much of a pervert he was. He was like married to a porn star.
Transcendence of male energy. And he eats that spinach, and he transcends into the strength. And I think, that's the art. The spinach is art.
Koons' previous wife was Hungarian porn star Ciciolina. In 2015, Ciciolina was interviewed by author and journalist Elaine Elkin. Ciciolina continually referenced how, quote, rich and powerful Koons was, and how she feared for her life, saying, quote, my husband is going to kill me. He keeps threatening me. She continued, saying, quote, he wanted things that were sexually absurd. I walked in on him nude on the bed while our child was playing with his genitals. I certainly saw other horrible things, but I can't tell you about them. In other words, my husband is mad as a hatter. So just to clarify, according to Koons' then wife, this man has sexually molested his child and threatened to kill his wife. Keep this context in mind for what you're about to hear next. Jeff serves on the board of directors for the International Center of Missing and Exploited Children, with his own foundation, the Koons Family Institute, serving as the research arm for the organization. Koons also donated $50,000 to Correct the Record, a company owned by Democratic fixer David Brock, the same man who was James Alefantis' boyfriend.
I'm gonna create a moment here.
Okay.
This Alefantis guy, like, what the fuck, dude?
David, self-consciously, I want you to say the sentence, Hillary Clinton handled her email practices at the State Department perfectly.
Yeah, she handled her email practices at the State Department perfectly. Yes, I agree with that.
James Alefantis posted this image to his Instagram. And as it turns out, this, quote, art was created by Jeff Koons. In fact, this is apparently Jeff's penis. Certainly a good look for the Department of State. But one of the standouts of the Art and Embassies program is Masterpiece International, founded by David Epstein. This Manhattan-based cargo shipping service specializes in fine art. Information on their site illustrates how they're able to bypass conventional security protocols, from handling the cargo to conducting both security and supervision. And by
So I just looked up James Alefantis because we were joking about him just owning a pizza shop. So this is just his Wikipedia I want to read real quick. He's an American chef and restaurateur. He founded his own 2 restaurants in Washington, D.C., including Comet Pizza, Comet Ping Pong, and a restaurant, Buck's Fishing and Camping. He is the president of Transformer, an art gallery in Logan Circle, Washington. In 2012, GQ named him as being one of the 50 most powerful people in Washington, D.C. What?
How is that even possible?
How does that fucking even work? That's weird, man.
Yo,
Well, anyways.
Papa John don't even got that power.
Yeah. He's got way more restaurants.
And I'm willing to bet better pizzas.
Yeah.
What would I just do?
Supplying one of their own 30 licensed custom brokers at every step of the way, Masterpiece International guarantees your shipments will remain unseen by prying eyes. Both Diana and John D. Negroponte are board members of Faith. John's brother, Nicholas Negroponte, is the founder of the One Laptop Per Child Association. And in an unfortunate twist, Negroponte has publicly stated his lack of apology regarding a specific relationship he had with a man who has now become infamous.
You're one of us. One of the chosen. One of the chosen.
Negroponte accepted substantial funding from Jeffrey Epstein. Just 5 years after Epstein's conviction for sex trafficking minors, Negroponte told MIT staff, quote, "If you wind back the clock, I would still say, take it."
And so we've gone into 2 villages where there is no literacy. There are no street signs. The village doesn't have a name. We have 500,000 laptops today in the hands of children. We have about 250,000 in transit to those and other children. And then there are another 250,000 and more that are being ordered at this moment.
How can someone in such a powerful position appear so unashamed about accepting lavish donations from a convicted child trafficking pedophile? If you still don't know how to answer that question, you haven't been listening. This is the image depicted for the 2005 segment of the official Art and Embassy's website.
Notice the spirals.
Oh, yeah.
By now, close followers of this topic should be fully aware of the implications the apparent symbols in this image convey. At what point do we stop doubting the potentiality of high-level child trafficking and open our eyes to see it? Admittedly, when attempting to discuss the more conspiratorial aspects of this subject to close friends and family, I often get eye rolls and irrelevant concessions. I've come to realize that many of us are too scared to entertain such notions, especially from those who still believe in the mainstream media, a number much larger than you might expect. And because of this, for the foreseeable future, any reference toward the existence of elite human trafficking will remain a niche topic, and therefore never truly be investigated by the masses. In that case, it's up to people like you and I to do whatever we can to provide evidence-based analysis of human trafficking. We have to utilize our platforms as weapons against the growing tide of fear-based, media-propagated distractions and divisions. Because somewhere at this very moment, adults and children are being seen and used as commodities, clandestinely sold to the highest bidder. And I'm convinced that among the bidders exist some of the most powerful and influential people in the world. So no matter how strong the censorship gets, or how corrupt our leadership becomes, we have to continue to work together in hopes that one day, true justice will be done. I've always been good at finding patterns. And the closer I get to this topic, the more receptive I become to a new kind of language, one that speaks to the darkest parts of my soul.
Like, what would your last meal be?
Oh,
Pizza.
brother, probably a fully loaded deep dish pizza. I love all kinds of pizza.
Yeah.
That's when this feeling of delusion sinks into my bones. Surely this clip of Hillary Clinton saying she loves pizza is just that, and nothing more. But I'd be lying if I didn't admit that a part of me, sometimes a large part of me, begins to consider the notion that what the former Secretary of State is doing here is talking to us.
I love all kinds of pizza.
Yeah.
And by us, I mean those who fully grok the scale of this topic completely.
Hillary, you are next. Name the most mischievous thing Chelsea did as a teenager in the White House.
My answer was order pizza, and here's what I mean by that.
Chelsea, your mother often babysits for you. What does she do that you don't approve of?
Pizza for lunch and dinner every day.
That's it, you scored a point. Okay.
I think the ultra-wealthy and the high class among us are infatuated with symbolism. And since probing into this issue, I now see the world with new eyes. Because for better or worse, I've opened a doorway in my mind which now notices their motifs. Q infamously said, their symbolism will be their downfall. But does this still feel true for anyone? Is it possible their symbology is more for us than them? A vehicle of sorts, driving us to change the way we think, or to, quote, reset into new paradigms. All I'm saying is, I didn't used to think this way, and I sometimes find it difficult to see how it's an improvement. I used to be able to watch a Disney movie, for example, without picking up on the endless Masonic emblems strewn throughout, or the blatant metaphors, in the case of Pinocchio, to a kind of Epstein Island.
Yeah, the metaphors in Pinocchio are pretty wild about like Epstein Island. Have you looked into that?
I've seen similar videos.
Well, he says like all the bad little boys go to Pleasure Island. Like that's what like the guy,
yeah.
That's what this guy brings Pinocchio and all the troublemakers.
I'm killing stupid little boys. Stupid little boys. And I take them to Pleasure Island.
Sometimes I wish I could close the door, but I know I can't. I've discovered something new. This is the patterns of the cabal.
Yeah.
The first example is not directly related to human trafficking, but in my view, they remain relevant in how they point to patterns among the elite class. But do the apparent patterns we think we're discovering ultimately have a benign explanation? Are these images showing a genuine motif of Masonic influence? A new form of communication, waiting for us to take notice? Or are we applying meaning to something that doesn't exist? The fact that I can't say for sure is perhaps the most perplexing.
This is the future. Evolution. This is the.
I mean, it is kind of weird that everyone's doing that. Is it not?
They're all doing the same three things. It's either this, or just this, covering their eye in some way, shape, or form.
The one eye. Like they're all doing
That
it.
means something.
Yeah, it
has
does, dude.
It's not a coincidence.
The future. Evolution.
The following are actual images from Justin Bieber's 2017 Where Are You Now music video.
Although the music video makes it appear that all the images were drawn solely by Bieber's fans, according to the Brewer brothers, who directed the music video, they did indeed draw, quote, some of the images. Which drawings do you think were created by the Brewer brothers? In Pedogate Part 1, I showed how the term BH Kids functioned as a kind of code for pedophilic content online. And for the unfamiliar, the relevant piece to focus on here is the website liska.com, which is a Slovenian lingerie company that showed up in search results after I typed BH Kids into Google. More importantly, it showed an image of a naked girl, maybe age 5 or 6. Long story short, I found that when browsing liska.com normally, no naked children were on their website, obviously. But simply typing BH Kids into Google was enough to literally activate new destination links to liska.com. New destination links which showed naked children, right? They were secret links, hidden links, activated by BH. Now, I initially found the term BH Kids after typing in these 3 Vietnamese words behind Anthony Bourdain and Obama. And the first thing that pulled up was this video of young Vietnamese children singing about not smoking, which is what the words behind Obama and Bourdain mean. They mean no smoking. Now, the video with the children came from a massive YouTube channel called BH Media.
And look what's on the floor.
And the reason why I'm talking about all
What?
Look at the symbols on the floor.
this again
Oh yeah,
is
I didn't
because
even notice
the cryptic function of BH that activates hidden links apparently doesn't only work for lingerie companies.
That is gorgeous. Can you paint like that?
This is in Boston right here.
The Brookview House in Boston, Massachusetts, is a non-profit organization that provides living solutions for homeless children. Now, BH is the acronym of Brookview House, so if BH Kids is on their site, it's a non-issue, and to think otherwise is paranoid. But it's not on their website. Nowhere can the term BH Kids be found. None of the categories go to a page that says BH Kids. No link loads to a page that says it. It's not there. But in the exact same way as liska.com, the good news is that it shows nothing indecent. The bad news is their website hides the page associated with the term BH Kids, then reveals it in the same way as what is arguably a website that shows child pornography. It could, of course, be a coincidence. The president and CEO of Brookview House is Deborah Hughes.
And I invite you to join us and help us create this movement. Thank you.
What the fucking guy.
Ah, no. Hillary
Damn.
Clinton, no.
Season 1.
Season 1 of True Detective was probably the best fucking television show ever made, if I just may say. I love that season 1.
It could have ended better, but yeah.
Yeah, it could have ended better, but it was still, I mean, that was awesome TV.
It was good.
Of True Detective is one of the greatest television shows of my time. It follows two operatives investigating an alleged satanic cult thought to involve top law enforcement officials complicit in the cover-up of child sexual abuse and human trafficking. The creators chose to emphasize the demonic cult with this symbol. An obvious allusion to the actual pedophile symbol seen here in FBI documents. Documents which were present in episode 6 in the 3rd season of True Detective, which was called The Crooked Spiral.
Dolls are used as signifiers in the human trafficking underground. Like this blue spiral, it's code for pedophiles.
Season 1 of True Detective works so well because it knows so much about its subject's nature. In my view, only someone with knowledge of the symbolic patterns and behaviors could make a show which continually got right the details. This pedophile symbol is often mistaken as a, quote, circle, when it's actually a derivation of the original spirangle. The relevant shape for this symbol remains triangular, but it's subtle, almost circular, but not quite. One could argue that this level of detail toward the symbolism of pedophile groups could potentially come from a deeper understanding than most of us. An understanding of what these cults seemingly convey to us. What you're about to see is the opening scene of True Detective Season 1. Let me know if anything sticks out to you.
Yeah, cult, ritual, murder. You thank the advertiser for that.
Could you hold off on can't do that here no more.
Oh, you assholes. You want to hear this or not?
Now, given the charges that were brought down today in regards to Harvey, what are your thoughts? What are just your whole thoughts about that?
So, Dr. Phil, I'm going to give you from now till April 5th to issue an apology, not only to me, but to Hannah and any other child that you sent to Turnabout or any other program like this. And if you don't, I'm going to handle things my way.
The plaintiff was sent to the Turnabout Ranch after an appearance on the Dr. Phil show. Hannah Archuleta says she was 17 when she was sexually assaulted twice by a staff member in 2019.
I expected to be treated with understanding. Instead, I experienced retaliation from the ranch after I spoke up.
That's the thing with these places is you have no evidence. You don't have a phone there. They don't have cameras there. Like, there's no evidence of none of this. And obviously all the staff is in on it.
Children were restrained, hit, thrown into walls, strangled, and sexually abused regularly at Provo. I could not report this because all communication with my family was monitored and censored. And what is disgusting is the program doesn't just censor communication with family, but also with the entire outside world. So there was no way we could call for help.
Pedogate Part 2, many criticized my inclusion of Donnie Wahlberg, who, being part of the boy band New Kids on the Block, refers to his fans as blockheads. But he actually never uses the term blockheads. Instead, he abbreviates it with BH. Now, after listening to the criticism coming from quite a few of my followers that Donnie Wahlberg has nothing to do with any of this, I became somewhat sympathetic to this notion. I mean, just because your boy band is about, quote, new kids, connecting that to the more insidious interpretations of BH felt unfair. My sympathies toward this rebuke, however, were challenged within the first few seconds of inquiry into who it was that owned New Kids on the Block.
Oh, fuck.
Yo, Interscope Records, like back in the day, that's where like 9 Inch Nails and Marilyn Manson came from.
Marilyn Manson, I believe that.
I'm not precisely sure as to the true nature of BH, or the enigmatic pedophile spiral, or the possibility that an elite cult of child sacrifice exists among us today. But sometimes, when I'm in a certain mood, and the timing is just so, I get this sense that my deepest suspicions about the nature of evil in this world are true. But then this notion fades, and I have doubts. Deep doubts that I merely live in a reality of my own creation, never noticing, only imagining. After a while, my thoughts form an equilibrium, a balancing act. Things get back to normal, until a new pattern reveals itself to me, and I'm left questioning everything all over again. A new cycle of ornaments and arrangements that once perceived cannot be unseen.
Out of all the years you've been doing your show and all the years you've been giving advice, how did this Catch Me Outside girl, how did this happen?
It's my moment of infamy.
Catch me outside. How about that? I really want to get my whole story out there and let everything just be out. Traumatized by it. Even the ones that weren't there were traumatized by it.
What are your responses to her?
If she had a bad experience, obviously I would hate that.
In a small town just south of Salt Lake City, there's a residential treatment center for troubled teenagers ages 13 to 17. The Turnabout Ranch.
The school has helped me by definitely raising my average, raising my GPA.
Creative writing, horsemanship, and culinary that all of our students are required to take.
Operating on a real working cattle ranch, the teens live and work on the farm, where they can learn about concepts like leadership and taking accountability.
I really like to see the kids find ways to meet their challenges, and that's what we do here.
Their website states, quote, "They will work hard. They will be given a physical outlet. They will be held accountable." But accountability goes both ways.
Send her to the ranch. You say, "I'll talk to me," you answer my questions or you don't. But I'm not going to tell you what I want to tell you. I'll tell you what I want you to know. That's what you get to hear.
These people are so fucking evil.
After appearing as an out-of-control kid on a 2016 episode of The Dr. Phil Show,
She'll go after me.
Good, bitch.
Bad Baby, or Danielle Brigoli, was sent to Turnabout Ranch.
Here you have expectations. If you say something, you're gonna get trouble right on. You're not gonna have chances. I didn't know how to ride a horse at all. I thought that you held the reins like this. So he thinks he's the cheat. I guess it's because he's little and he thinks he runs stuff.
In a YouTube video called Breaking Code Silence, Brigoli details at length the specifics of the abuse she endured during her time at Turnabout.
So part of the whole Dr. Phil show is they send these kids to either Turnabout or these other programs that are also in Utah, but they're all wilderness programs and they're all fucked up. For the first 3 days you're there, is no showering. They put you in a circle, which is it's a teepee. It's a little teepee, but it's open. And you have to sit there for 3 days. They strip you from your whole personality. You have to act like just whoever they want you to act like.
Brigoli goes on to describe a horrific experience during her stay which included being deprived of sleep and being subjected to freezing temperatures.
They had no problem holding kids down, which is against the law. You're not supposed to touch the kids, but they had no problem doing that. I seen a kid get held down for trying to leave. Just honestly, I don't think he was trying to run away. I think he was just trying to like walk out the door and just like get some time to himself, and they restrained him. They held him down. One of the kids, he had tried to steal a car or something. Everyone was screaming on the walkies like it was really crazy, and he ended up killing one of the staff members. They made all the kids that were at Rowdy come down, and then they told us not to tell us anything. A day later, they have us all, every kid that's at Turnabout, they have us all sit in a circle, and they're like, listen, there was an incident. I know some of y'all heard it over the walkies. Jimmy died.
The event which sparked Bergoli to speak out occurred after the American rapper saw one of her fellow students at Turnabout Ranch, Hannah Arculeta, on the news.
We think it is long overdue for Turnabout Ranch to be held accountable for what happened to Hannah.
The 19-year-old says she was sexually assaulted by a staff member, then punished for reporting it.
At the ranch, I was alone and isolated from all of my family. If you or anyone you know has suffered sexual assault or child abuse or retaliation at any of these so-called ranches or wilderness programs, please report it. No child should suffer abuse, and no child should ever be sent to these ranches.
When I seen the punishment she was given, I knew like, okay, I really have to say something. Like, I really have to have her back on this, because I truly believe that they did that.
And the weight of Bergoli's testimony here is directed toward one man.
So, Dr. Phil, I'm going to give you from now till April 5th to issue an apology, not only to me, but to Hannah and any other child that you sent to Turnabout or any other program like this. And if you don't, I'm gonna handle things my way.
Dr. Phil's show is exploitative. One struggles to find any redeeming quality about the program because of how relentless it displays mental illness as something unique, and does so in a facile, simplistic way. It should be no surprise, then, that the same man who profits off the mentally ill sends children to a treatment facility who claim to have been sexually abused and tortured.
Wow.
And it's worth noting that these are only the survivors who have come forward. In abuse case scenarios, there's almost always more victims, too fearful to tell their stories. And as it pertains to Dr. Phil, with the exploitative ethics of his program aside, one wonders how shocked he must be regarding the apparent social power of Bergoli's testimony. Bergoli's video on Dr. Phil has garnered over 6 million views, forcing Dr. Phil to publicly respond in an orchestrated softball interview.
So Phil, I'm reading the New York Post this weekend. I open up this story about a teen rapper named Bad Bobby, B-H-A. She says that I was on his show 5 years ago and they were abusive at this boot camp.
Well, you know, she went to Turnabout 4 or 5 years ago, and if she had a bad experience, you know, obviously I would hate that. We'd be sorry about that, but we don't have anything to do with what happens with guests once they leave the stage.
Look, when we were kids, we got the strap, we got the brush. If you were at school, you might have had to put your hands out and you'd get the ruler. So that's coming up after the break. And I also want to talk to you a little bit about Oprah.
Yo, way to soften that all up, huh?
Yeah, I know, right? We got the dick.
Rough. Yeah. You'd get the dick in the cheek, something like that. No big deal.
Bergoli has not posted a video related to the topic since her response to Dr. Phil's interview, uploaded over a month ago. One wonders where this story will go next. Until then, I think it's worth taking a closer look at the elite celebrity who surround Dr. Phil and their attempts to conceal their philanthropic scandals.
There really is a spirit of Ubuntu here because of the I am. The sense of every girl being for her sister. And there is that wonderful feeling of when one succeeds, we all succeed.
In its first year, Oprah's South African School for Girls was getting inundated with reports.
I wasn't sure what had happened, but there was a suspicion on the part of the girls of some type of sexual abuse.
But if you want the full story, it's difficult to find. The sources on Wikipedia, which allegedly include the children's testimony from Reuters and Time magazine, have been removed. Time magazine does allow access to the article, but only through an archive. What we do know is that 9 girls testified against Virginia Macapo for what they claimed was repeated sexual abuse. 9! But shortly after, Macapo was acquitted of all charges. A South African reporter told Access Hollywood, quote, "There is definitely potential for a cover-up." In 2011, ABC News reported that a dead baby was found in Oprah's school. You heard that right, a dead baby. But if you want more information on this, you're out of luck, because many of the links ABC provided in this story lead nowhere. If you've seen any of the previous volumes in this series, you're aware of the horror of John of God.
Horrific allegations of baby trafficking and murder have also surfaced in a case that's sending shockwaves around the world.
He took it a step further. He penetrated me from behind. I can't even describe it.
After Zahira's bombshell interview on Brazilian television, authorities were reportedly contacted by more than 600 accusers, ranging in age from 9 to 67, who claim they were sexually abused by the so-called miracle worker. Faria's accusers include his own daughter, who says her father sexually abused her between the ages of 10 and 14. For more than 50 years, Faria has led a spiritual center in rural Brazil, where he claims millions have flocked for his spiritual guidance or healing. From eye scrapings and evasive nose probings to incisions in the skin, John of God has performed countless unlicensed surgical procedures, seemingly with no anesthesia on enraptured followers.
The journalist who broke the story, Sabrina Bittencourt, alleged that John of God was running giant human farms where women were imprisoned inside of barns, birthing babies to be sold onto the black market. Bittencourt claimed John of God was part of a global child trafficking network involving some of the wealthiest people and groups in the world.
And remember, we saw him with Marina Abramovich.
Yeah.
And he was on Oprah.
She claimed the operation was international in scope. Who then was the person responsible for growing John of God's following by tenfold during his reign?
We have different colors in our aura. So
Did you look away, you pussy?
I did. I did.
I force myself to look at it. I can't just I can't do it anymore.
Why?
Because you just have to force yourself to look into the abyss, bro. This is like the darkness. You know what I'm saying? As
Aren't you
fucking
the one that always says, like, when I watch like people getting shot and stuff, you're like, there's no bad karma.
No, that's different. We're watching like demons at work. We have to stare into this abyss as Bible bros.
So isn't that worse?
No, because we're finding demons. This is different.
Okay.
I don't want to see a soldier popping a fucking bullet into somebody's head, or a gang violence where somebody just gets lit up. Like
You'll watch a pedophile scrape shit off of people's eyeballs.
An evil sex trafficker. Yeah, I'll watch that. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, I will.
I see. Okay.
But yo, here he is on Oprah right now.
So human energy looks like colors?
See?
Yes. Various different colors. What does something like cancer look like when you see inside? Quando vê aranha,
Sendo da vontade de Deus.
when he sees cancer,
Deus é sobre todas.
he starts asking that this be taken away, be removed, being God's will.
An endorsement from Oprah Winfrey is equivalent to critical gold in America.
Yo, if this were Game of Thrones and Ned Stark was your dad and he was cutting off the head of the nice watch guy, would you look away?
Yeah, probably.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Renly Baratheon for sure.
Her interview with John of God almost certainly resulted in thousands upon thousands, more men, women, and children flocking to his...
Yo, and Oprah sat in on that shit. Are you still looking away? Are you still looking away?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What? I'm not watching him fucking...
Well, it hasn't shown anything.
Well, look at this right now.
Well, maybe right now we'll see. But Oprah, what you didn't see is Oprah sitting right here off to the side.
Yeah,
depraved location to partake in his quote surgeries.
Oh.
How is this taking place without blood loss?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Not screaming their heads off. I need inserts, the needle doing the stitching and making the incisions.
Mark came from California, not because of any illness, but looking for.
All right, I'll fast forward there. Okay.
Inspiration.
Fuck.
That was brutal.
Yeah, no, I'll take your word for it.
But yeah, I fast forwarded through it.
In a time with so much useless information.
So you didn't see what he did on that guy's head?
I just saw him going at some guy's head and I looked away.
Oh yeah, that was rough.
It's never been easier for the rich and powerful to hide their scandals. Combine this with the ability for elites like Dr. Phil and Oprah to ensure the media quashes any story painting them in a questionable light, and you have the epitome of unquestioned power. While it's true that with the continuation of relentless censorship, one can lose hope that any kind of significant change will be made. But in my view, despite the odds being so stacked against us, the day will come when more eyes and ears begin to pay attention to stories like these. If only we continue to make them and share them. And if only those who appear to be within these elite groups continue to speak out.
Is that it?
It's not over yet. It's not over, but so far, like, do you think it's wild how all this shit is connected?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just saw the Bad Bobby baby doing this.
Yeah.
But probably after that, they were like, hey, listen, you want to be a part of the club? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and she never spoke about it again.
Yeah, and she's like, all right.
Yep,
you know.
here I am. Yep. And like I really want you to to resonate into your head this whole occultist satanic shit that's tied into all of it.
No, I mean, it's definitely, it seems like a thing. And like I said, man, this, what was it? Terramar?
Terramar, yeah.
That's probably the call it civilization, call it a cult. It's probably a worldwide break-off civilization, but it's not a break-off civilization like how we think of, but this is part of their culture, is probably some type of
a cult.
Doing weird stuff with kids, man, and it probably goes way back, some ancient ritualistic stuff. I mean, look at Bohemian Grove.
Yep.
Exactly.
And these spirit cookings.
Yeah.
Truth is not a given.
Vaccine.
GMOs.
Jeffrey Epstein.
UFOs.
Splashed. Mark bearing range.
There are those who want the truth suppressed, sequestered, and exploited. Then there are those who want the truth revealed, disseminated, and uncensored. You are one of those people.
And that's why it was so.
Which I will say that is an interesting website. It's called Dauntless Dialogue, and it features all conspiracy documentaries, but you got to pay for it,
Oh, I see.
There are some who believe that the modern world continues to evolve morally.
What I do is I go on Dauntless Dialogue, I look at their library, and then I try to find that on either Rumble or BitChute.
I see.
For free,
Okay. Yeah.
While this might be true about the general public, unfortunately, it seems not to be true when it pertains to those in power. One of the most bitterly debated subjects in classical archaeology is whether or not the Carthaginians, an ancient civilization in North Africa, killed their children for their gods. Evidence for the worship of Moloch is found in the Old Testament, with variant names Molech, Melech, and Baal, meaning Lord, and also the Phoenician theonym for Moloch is MLK. If the classical reports
Martin Luther King?
are accurate, Moloch represents a deity or symbology associated with child sacrifice and is fervently despised in the Old Testament. Other than claims from Alex Jones during his escapades with Bohemian Grove, no archaeological or historical evidence states Moloch or any of his variant names resemble an owl. Rabbinical tradition depicted Moloch as a bronze statue with the head of a bull and a large human body where victims were thrown into fire. The Canaanite deity has also been drawn and referred to as Kronos due to the parallel mytheme of the Titan god devouring his children. The ritualistic intimations of Baal and Moloch have existed for thousands of years, with modern reimaginings depicting the idol as a machine. Other controversial interpretations can be found in the origins of Freemasonry, as revealed in the Royal Arch Degree in the Rituals of Exaltation. The name of the great architect of the universe is a trinity of words: Ja-Brulan, translating to Yahweh, Baal, and Osiris, the ancient Egyptian god of fertility, resurrection, and the underworld. In Tunisia, just outside Jerusalem, children were said to have been sacrificed to Baal by being, quote, passed through fire in an area called a Tophet. According to Rashi, the single most influential commentator of the Middle Ages, the massive statue of, quote, Molech, which was of copper, and they would heat it up from underneath with its hands spread out, and they would place the child on his hands, and he would be burnt and mown, and the priests would beat drums so the father should not hear his son's voice and take pity, end quote. It's pertinent to understand the Hebrew Bible referred to Moloch worship as Canaanite idolatry, straying away from Judaism. The quotes from Leviticus are clear. But the religion of Carthage in North Africa managed to continue the Canaanite ritual. With several modifications, they birthed what the Jewish virtual library called the cult of Moloch, creating the largest Tophet ever discovered, covering almost 4 miles with 9 descending levels. Rabbinical tradition stated, quote, the body of Moloch was hollow, divided into 7 compartments, in one which they put flour, in the 2nd through 6th they put animals, and in the 7th a child, which were all burned together by heating the statue inside. Initially, scholars interpreted these claims as exaggerated fictions, stemming from Greek and Roman propaganda, who publicly shamed these cults as barbaric. But in 1923, French-led excavations at Carthage found some 20,000 burials containing cremated infant and animal bones kept in urns, inscribed with dedications to Baal and the Phoenician theonym for Moloch. They discovered long genealogical pedigrees signifying noble families, with one lineage stretching back 16 generations, suggesting the ritual was, quote, an elite practice. The University of Oxford published a study of the findings, concluding the Greek and Roman accounts were true, and not, as modern scholars believed, propaganda. They also reaffirmed previous analyses that because the ritual was so expensive, only the wealthiest and most powerful in Carthage could have practiced it. The cult of Moloch was real, an unspeakable evil carried out by wealthy humans while their society was flourishing. An author of the study said, quote, we should not imagine that ancient people thought like us and were horrified by the same things. But remember, the Greeks and the Romans were just as appalled then as we are now. Even many animals have an unquenchable desire for the safety of their offspring. Something curious happened to the rulers of Carthage long ago. What was it? And with the cult of Moloch substantiated, it would seem that anyone knowledgeable of its horror would react with abhorrence and disgust. And with most of the world having no idea about this, why then, or how then, does Hillary Clinton know about Moloch?
I was just about to bring this up.
Yep.
In previous volumes, I outlined the strangely deviant website created by the current VP of Pew Charitable Trust, Tamara Luzzatto, outlining her odd, sexual, borderline torturous rhetorical proclivities aimed toward her grandchildren. The names of Tamra's grandchildren are Ruby, Emerson, and Maeve Luzzatto. In this leaked email between Tamra and John Podesta, Tamra refers to a get-together at a farm, where she refers to a heated pool. She continues, saying, quote, Ruby, Emerson, and Maeve Luzzatto, 11, 9, and almost 7. So you'll have some further entertainment, and they will be in that pool for sure. But there's more to this story than initially perceived, much more. In 2008, the website Mama's Midwives published a home birth story written by the biological mom of these children.
You know what's weird is, like, I only go on social media. I don't look at websites.
Yeah, neither do I.
Or like blogs and things like that. Like, I don't look at any of that. I have a YouTube, a Rumble, an Instagram, and a Facebook.
Yeah.
And I look at Google for weather. Like,
It almost seems like, now that you've brought that up, it almost seems like social media is created to consolidate the information.
Maybe.
You know? Because what other website have you really been on?
What website? I mean,
aside from like maybe Amazon.
Yeah, but that's an app on my phone.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Instagram, Facebook, like
I go on Google and I type in weather and then I press enter and it tells me, it's just like, that's it, dude. You know what I'm saying? So it's wild when I see these, like, oh, on this website or this blog, I'm like, how do people fucking, it's just a world that I do not know, you know? All right, oh, why do I keep doing that? Oh, here we go. Don't mind me.
Alexandra Tidings Luzzatto. In the story, she mentions Ruby and Emerson, then says, quote, and with the next contraction, Maeve Chaim Luzzatto arrived. This name is the female iteration of Moshe, or Moses Chaim Luzzatto, a messianic cult leader who promoted black magic in the 18th century. Critics might argue that this comparison is arbitrary and point to other notable uses of the Luzzatto name. But among all documented uses, only one has Chaim as its middle name. Additionally, the name Maeve is both a historical and pop-modern female variant for Moses. Either Alexandra named her child after an occult messiah by accident, or these families understand the significance of their names and their lineage. Consider she's also part of the Tidings family, a powerful genealogy of U.S. Democratic politicians dating back to the 18th century. In the award-winning book, The Pursuit of Heresy, author Hofen states, quote, shortly after receiving a Magidic confirmation of his unique mission, Luzzatto joined a secret circle where he would communicate with apparitions called Magids that prophesized events and offered a visionary hidden knowledge, but his ceremonies were small and were covened only between a secret cult that summoned the dead. Alexandra Tidings also comes from a line of Crowleys. Her sister, Paige Crowley, named after her mother's longtime partner, Arthur Crowley, whose father was...
Yo.
So, like, you see me looking at my phone, and that's just because, like, I want to research just, like, little facts, just to make sure that, like, this guy's not skating on anything that people aren't just
Yeah,
doing.
you're trying to fact check in real time.
Exactly. And for the most part, a lot of it's true. But Maeve doesn't mean Moses in a different language.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
What language did he say it meant that it was in?
I don't know. He just said Maeve means Moses.
No, I remember.
Maeve's an Irish name.
I remember when he said it for sure.
Yeah, it was literally like maybe 30 seconds ago or a minute ago.
I got it right here, sucker.
The Luzzatto name. But among all documented uses, only one has Chaim as its middle name. Additionally, the name Maeve is both a historical and pop-modern female variant.
Yeah, I can't see the video.
Did you... Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to. Did you spell it like that?
Yeah.
Right.
For Moses. Either Alexandra named her child after an occult messiah by accident, or these families understand the significance of their names and their lineage. Consider she's also part of the Tidings family, a powerful genealogy of U.S. Democratic politicians dating back to the 18th century. In the award-winning book, The Pursuit of Heresy, author Hofen states, quote, "Shortly after receiving a Magidic confirmation of his unique mission, Luzzatto joined a secret circle where he would communicate with apparitions called Magids that prophesized events and offered a visionary hidden knowledge, but his ceremonies were small and were covened only between a secret cult that summoned the dead." Alexandra Tidings also comes from a line of Crowleys. Her sister, Paige Crowley, named after her mother's longtime partner, Arthur Crowley, whose father was the first Crowley.
Lucas.
What?
So then I just fucking typed in, does the name Maeve have occult meaning? And it said yes. The name Maeve, often spelled Maibh in Irish Gaelic, has connections to occult and mythological meanings, primarily rooted in Irish folklore and classic Celtic paganism. Here's a breakdown. Etymological and mythological origins. Primary meaning Maeve derives from the Old Irish mebd, M-E-D-B, pronounced roughly as Maeve, meaning she who intoxicates or intoxicating one. This ties directly to concepts of enchantment, allure, and altered states of consciousness, hallmarks of occult themes like magic, seduction, and divine ecstasy. Queen Maeve, in Irish mythology, the most famous bearer is Queen Maeve of Connacht from the Ulster cycle, and then in parentheses it says, e.g. the epic Tain Bo Culling or cattle raid of Cooley, dating back to the 1st century CE in oral tradition, written down around the 12th century. She is depicted as a sovereign goddess queen with superhuman traits, a warrior ruler who embodies fertility, sovereignty, and sexual powers. She requires multiple lovers to maintain her power, symbolizing the lands of fertility.
So she's
associated with the intoxication mead wine as a metaphor for her influence in shape-shifting or linked to fairy queens or Sidhe in later folklore. And then in pre-Christian Celtic religion, she is often interpreted as a Ehermized goddess of sovereignty, similar to figures like Morrigan, War and Fate, or Rhiannon of Welsh myth. In the occult and esoteric interpretations, Maeve is invoked in Wiccan, Druidy, and Celtic reconstructions of paganism as a symbol of empowerment, femininity, sovereignty over one's life, and magical intoxication, e.g. through rituals involving mead or altered states. So yeah, what did you look at through ChatGPT?
I just Googled, does Maeve mean Moses?
Oh, okay. Well, it doesn't mean Moses. It doesn't say that here.
Yeah, I'm sure it's got some crazy fucking,
But it does have a cult
some meaning to it. Yeah.
I was like, where the hell did he just look that all up at? All right, back to it. Sorry about that.
Some might claim that any comparison to the English occultist Aleister Crowley, based solely on similar last names, would be a reach. However, the fact that Alexandra named her daughter after Moshe Chaim Luzzatto points to an awareness and preoccupation with genealogy that extends also to her elders. Additionally, Aleister Crowley's original name was Alexander Crowley, the male iteration of Alexandra. The idea this was a fluke made by powerful pedigrees is absurd.
Yo, I remember her when she was on Hercules and Xena Warrior Princess. She was a character on both those shows.
Oh, okay.
The associations couldn't be
hot as fuck, too.
More obvious. Unless, of course, there's evidence that people in this family have been publicly associated with the occult.
I love starting a new school.
Dude, when I was in my teens, I used to watch Xena Warrior Princess with my fucking dick in my hand. Dude, all the chicks were dope as fuck on this show.
Yeah.
It was like medieval Baywatch.
It's important to understand that not all interpretations of the occult are inherently sinister. Many of us might enjoy horoscopes or getting our palms read. One mustn't devolve into the fundamentalists who went nuts over Harry Potter, right? But just as Islamic apologists obfuscate the brutality in the Quran, so too do followers of Aleister Crowley. In his book, Magic in Theory and Practice, he states, a male child of perfect innocence and high intelligence is the most satisfactory and suitable victim. The bloody sacrifice, though more dangerous, is more efficacious, and for nearly all purposes, human sacrifice is the best. Referring to himself as the Beast 666, Crowley was an individualist, arch-Satanist who created the cult of Thelema, the Grand Lodge Ordo Templi Orientis, or OTO, and a ritual called sex magic, which includes drinking mixtures of semen and blood.
What the fuck?
Even after his death, through his famously shallow and insidious libertine ethic, do what thou wilt, he's continued to gain followers all over the world. Some well-meaning, others not. For several decades, the Kidley sex cult led by Colin Batley psychologically terrorized and raped vulnerable children. After being jailed in 2011, investigators found that each follower had a laminated version of Aleister Crowley's Book of the Law. One girl testified that she was taken to other homes and forced to have sex with strangers at, quote, satanic orgies. And the leader had Rottweiler dogs that were vicious to everyone. It's apparent that many followers of Crowley mirror the countless Muslim scholars who obfuscate their prophet's well-documented pedophilia. For example, this verse from Aleister's diary was so disturbing, even a Thelemite asked a forum of followers if Aleister really did this to his baby. Quote, her breasts itch with lust of incest. She hath given her 2-year bastard boy to her lewd lover's whim of sodomy. She hath tongued her 5-month girl and asked its father to deflower it. Thin shrieks of a young child that her beast god slave mate is torturing for her pleasure. End quote. Some said it was probably poetic hyperbole or a drug-induced stupor, or saw no problem at all. Others said, quote, the whole topic of pedophilia is central for coming to full understanding the eon of the child, end quote. Another said Crowley was tame compared to TV shows like Family Guy, and that Aleister may have had pedophile tendencies, but he wasn't a real pedophile. A real true pedophile is simply a lover of youth. Philia is a word meaning love, like agape or thelema. There are many others who excuse pederasty, so I'll end it with another Thelemite who said, quote, you could argue, I'm sure, that a person who finds themselves in love with a child has the right to follow up his or her urges with action, so long as the kid was also up for it. After Crowley died, George King published The Secret Rituals of the OTO. This infuriated their new leader, Grady McMurtry, who conceded the book was, quote, accurate enough to be used for initiations. The most significant secret revealed was a word being used during Thelema's rituals, a word that forever tethered their cult to the contentious origins of Freemasonry. Jabulan. It's important to note that the majority of Freemasons are good people, separate from the alleged malevolence of those at the top who both know and keep the secrets, which established the need for the society in the first place. And it's those men who built this country, installing their own people into the most prominent positions of power and influence, so as to maintain their status and control that arguably control the world. If you doubt this, allow me to rebuke with 2 questions. How do you make sure your influence and power are represented across an entire people? In other words, how do you control a country? you build one. While none of this is evidence that Tamara Luzzatto is necessarily sinister, it certainly hints to a specific pattern of belief so often found among the most powerful in our society. One can confidently say that members of the Luzzatto and Tidings family knowingly named their children after two infamous cult leaders, one of whom has amassed a following of, on one hand, decent people who are merely interested in Crowley's aesthetic and counterculture variants, and on the other, pedophile apologists and sexual deviants. Which side the Luzzatto family is on, I leave up to you. Either way, Tamara Luzzatto is one of the most powerful women in the world, having worked as the primary advisor for Senator John D. Rockefeller's National Commission on Children, then as chief of staff for Hillary Clinton, per the recommendation of John Podesta, and is currently the senior vice president for the Pew Charitable Trust. She's someone you don't want to fuck with. Even the articles written about her by so-called reputable publications compare her and her husband to Francis and Claire Underwood from House of Cards. So while I wouldn't suggest poking the bear, I will continue to. Admittedly, as it pertains to the elite, and the apparent operations they construct, and their ostensible ability to evade prosecution, I'm impressed. How have they become so powerful?
They're part of a different
Or perhaps
country.
a better question.
What's that?
It says because they're part of a different country.
Mm-hmm.
They have their own rules. Like, why do these elitists never go to jail? Because they're part of a different country. It's Terramar. You know,
Terramar shit. Yep.
They got their own rules. They have their own systems that they're accountable to. You know, so that's why nothing will ever come about any of this shit. You know.
I hope something does come about.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, but I doubt it.
How did they become so evil? Is power, by its very nature, a requisite to malevolence? I'm not sure. I am sure, however, that when it comes to human trafficking, it's not, as it pertains to America, for example, about Democrat versus Republican, but good versus evil. Too often those of us closest to this subject matter conflate its findings with an interpretation of partisanship. This is a problem, because it jeopardizes our ability to transcend the political and unify under a single banner with the intent to help those who most desperately need it. The following video will be an attempt to prove this point. I'll start with a question. In America, what is the punishment for producing child pornography? Is it 2 years in jail? 5 years? 10 years?
I would hope life.
The minimum sentence,
I mean, watch it be 2.
for first-time offenders producing child pornography is 15 years in prison, according to the DOJ. But apparently, if you're a prominent politician, laws protecting children are optional. Republican Congressman Robert Bowman, for the stated crime of having sex with a 16-year-old boy, his charges were dropped after completing a, quote, treatment program. Republican Councilman Keola Childs pled guilty to child molestation, spent 1 year in jail, spread across 12 years, serving 30 days whenever he wanted each year. Republican campaign consultant and activist Tom Shortridge, for the crime of not just having but producing child pornography, he received 3 years probation. Republican elections director Kevin Cohn,
Why
for the
are we
crime of
blurring out
soliciting a
faces?
14.
What's that?
Why are they fucking blurring out faces?
Well, this was back on YouTube, so he probably had to blur out faces. He actually, in Pedogate, he complained a lot about how, you know, YouTube chooses like terms of service, like he wasn't able to show faces. So I would assume that's why.
15-year-old girl over the internet, he received 2 years probation. Republican City Councilman Fred C. Smeltzer Jr., for the crime of raping a 15-year-old girl, He was released after 6 months in prison. Republican Judge Mark Pazuhanik pled no contest to sexually molesting his 10-year-old daughter. He was given 10 years probation. Republican Speaker of the House Dennis Hastert pled guilty to child molestation. Prior to his conviction, Hastert said child molesters should, quote, be put in jail for the rest of their lives. And the judge presiding over Hastert said, quote, nothing is more stunning than having serial child molester and Speaker of the House in the same sentence. Hastert was released from jail after 13 months. Republican Representative Jem Noblack. His daughter claimed he molested her between the ages of 9 and 21. He gave his resignation, and there was no further consequence. Democratic Congressman Fred Richmond, for the crime of soliciting sex from a 16-year-old boy, he was never charged, and after he said he was sorry, he actually won re-election. Democratic Governor Neil Goldschmidt admitted to raping a 13-year-old girl, and the charges were dropped. Democratic Mayor Gary Becker, for the crime of child molestation, possession, and distribution of child pornography, he was released from jail after 3 years. Democratic Mayor Ed Murray, accused by 5 people, including his foster son, of ongoing child sexual abuse, he was allowed to resign without further consequence. And of course, Democratic Congressman Anthony Weiner, Democratic donor and activist and Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein, billionaire Democratic donor Jeffrey Epstein, Democratic aide and friend to Hillary Clinton Laura Silsby are among the pantheon of Democratic pedophiles or accused child sex traffickers, given lenient or no sentencing at all in relation to their stated crimes. It's important to remember that these were the only public officials who were actually caught, right? One wonders how many more government people are currently molesting children in secret right now.
Fresh allegations that TV icon Sir Jimmy Savile abused young girls during his career.
In a statement, the BBC said it conducted extensive searches of its files to establish whether there is any record of misconduct.
The BBC is the same organization that, according to their own investigation, knowingly allowed Jimmy Savile, one of Britain's most prolific pedophiles, to sexually abuse children. Even while rumors of his penchant for kids spread, he was knighted in 1990, and just months ago, an independent inquiry reaffirmed that several British officials, quote, actively shielded and covered up child sex abuse for decades. Here are some of the names and occupations of those with evidence of participation in or sympathies to pedophilia among the British establishment. Sir Peter Morrison, former private secretary to Margaret Thatcher. The Daily Telegraph reported allegations that Morrison raped a 14-year-old boy at Elms Guest House in London. Former child social worker Peter Wrighton, who was allowed to continue working after claims he was molesting the children. He established what the Metropolitan Police describe as, quote, a pedophile network. Former Prime Minister Sir Edward Heath, the Conservative politician, was accused of raping and, quote, indecently assaulting 5 boys. Sir Cyril Smith, former MP, abused several children for, quote, perverted amusement. Sir Clement Freud, former MP, was accused by 3 women of sexually abusing them when they were children. British writer Tom O'Carroll, founder of the Pedophile Information Exchange, or PI, a British-funded pedophilia advocacy group seeking to abolish the age of consent. Sir Rhodes Boyson, former MP, was yet another member of the Pedophile Information Exchange and was knighted in 1987. Sir Leon Britton, former MP, objected to a request to ban the Pedophile Information Exchange. Leon Britton was knighted in 1989. Sir Greville Jenner, former MP, who in one instance posed as a carer in a children's home in order to sexually abuse a young boy. Sir Keith Joseph, former MP, according to the Sunday Mirror, Sir Keith Joseph and Sir Rhodes Boyson indulged in sex parties with underage, quote, rent boys. Sir Peter Heyman, former MP, outspoken member of PI, and of course, he was knighted in 1971. Unfortunately, with the exception of Tom O'Carroll, justice will never be served, because the allegations against these high members of British Parliament have only recently been made public, and all of the accused are now dead. The UK's most notorious address is Dolphin Square, home to MPs, senior military, royalty, spies, law enforcement, and other powerful figures. In a dossier presented to Scotland Yard, one victim, named Nick, said he'd be taken there in a chauffeur-driven car and abused by a group of men during parties, saying at one point he witnessed a boy being strangled to death by a Conservative member of Parliament. A similar dossier was given to Margaret Thatcher in 1999. She never mentioned it. I encourage you to share this video with skeptics of this topic. They can vet the information and discover that it's all true. I want these people to know what's going on. The culmination of my research into elite human trafficking has convinced me without question that pedophiles, in large part, manage, own, and run the world. And to think otherwise is misguided. For example, not all sex offenders are pedophiles, right? But it's still true that the majority have committed sexual crimes against children. With that in mind, consider this question. How many sex offenders do you think live in your zip code? The number might surprise you. Now, scale that number up to your city, then your state, then your country.
I actually used to have the sex offender app, and there's not a lot on the South Shore.
I saw this one video of this podcast. I forget the dude's name. But it was just like it was a map of New York, and he goes, all those red dots are some type of IP address that's like downloading or watching some type of child pornography, and the whole state was fucking lit up.
You can download the sex offender app, and you can click on it, and it will show the person's picture and what their charge is. And there wasn't any on the South Shore. It was all North Shore, all like closer to New Hampshire, like riddled with them.
Yeah, well, they're probably living in pretty rural areas, you know.
Yeah.
And the number jumps to over 800,000. And this is only in America, and only the offenders who were caught. Forensic psychologist Dr. Michael Cito, an author of Pedophilia and Sexually Offending Against Children, put the prevalence of pedophilia in the general population around 1%. Even if we were to cut that figure in half, 0.5% of the human population is roughly 40 million people. So according to Dr. Cito's research, it's not a conspiracy that among our leaders are pedophiles, but a statistical certainty. Similar to the nepotism and Freemasonry, pedophiles in positions of power would almost certainly have an interest in protecting themselves by recruiting those with similar penchants. Psychologist Dr. Knapp wrote, "The serial killer has the same personality characteristics as the sex offender against children. If psychopathy is a trait of pedophiles, then it follows that among any group of them would exist an approval of and desire for child sex trafficking. But without the means to carry out such an operation, most pedophiles have to facilitate their malevolence online, the content of which is becoming progressively depraved, substantiating the notion that pedophiles do share correlative defects with psychopaths." So when analyzing the world's elite class, the statistical average for the presence of pedophiles in society doesn't suddenly go away. In fact, when factoring in the elite's accrued wealth and resources, which include royalty, intelligence officials, Masonic leaders, banking dynasties, and religious authorities, if they intended to conduct or navigate within existing enterprises of child sex trafficking, they could surely do so. Pedophiles are everywhere, and they don't suddenly disappear when they become powerful. It's up to us to ensure pedophiles stay away from children at all costs. This is why it's so upsetting that we happen to exist in a culture that gives politicians a slap on the wrist or no punishment at all when their depravity is revealed to the world. This has to change. If it were up to me, pedophiles would never be allowed to re-enter civilized society. But it's not up to me. Instead, I'm part of a country whose very leader continues to lay bare his apparent proclivity for small children. I'm not sure what, if anything, can be done about this. I mean, what do we do? I don't know. But I'm not going to stop going after them, in the hopes that someday justice will be done.
So you said you went to break up the relationship, and yet you stayed at that New York mansion several days. I'm wondering how long...
But I was doing a number of other things while I was there.
But you were staying at the house of
Yes.
a convicted sex offender.
So what'd you think of that one, Lucas?
Yeah, man, that's some wild shit. There's some wild shit. I mean, there is certainly a lot of overlap from what we've learned, you know, previous, conspiracy theories and documentaries and whatnot. But it seems like every time we watch something, there's just like a little bit more to the puzzle, like this ancient religion and them like sacrificing kids to Moloch.
And remember, what was the other name they used for Moloch? Baal.
Yeah.
Balenciaga.
Yeah.
Remember the Balenciaga scandal?
Yeah.
Same thing, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's wild. And for people that don't know the Balenciaga scandal, it was a photo shoot by this like artist who was a fucking Satanist. All her artwork was wicked, satanic, and fucked up. And in this photo shoot, what was it, like a teddy bear and fucking
bondage
gimp suit or something?
As in like bondage.
Yeah, and a little kid was holding it or something, right?
Yeah, and there was also a lot of hidden like things that you had to fucking really look.
Well, on the set, there was papers on the set that were like the
well, that was
rape laws or something like that.
That was a different photo shoot. That was one that the paperwork was like it was child pornography laws when it had to do like when it came to like animation or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like even like I mean I probably won't be able to get it off Google. But Google will probably be like, yo, nothing happened with Balenciaga. But oh, yeah, so I mean, I can show you right here. Can I make that bigger? Oh, come on, don't do it. This website, boom, boom, share screen. Let's see, no, this one. Bam. Add it. So here, she's holding this bear that's bondage bear.
Yeah.
This child. And then there's other things. There's another child holding a bondage bear with like, glasses of wine and shit like that. And these tools. There's another one. Let's see. There's one that showed probably fucking. Yeah, that was just the one thing.
Here,
But
scroll back up to one of those photos, any one.
this one.
Now, I mean, just kind of notice how the things are displayed on that table.
Yep.
There's nothing crazy that's there, right? As far as like items, but the image is that of like, how do I put it? Like tools. Like we're gonna lay all this stuff out, like how like when you watch a show and the evil villain takes the cloth off the table and you see all the scalpels and shit, or that's where you see all the knives and the saws and stuff. It would be displayed exactly how that's being displayed.
Mm-hmm.
Just seems like it's got like a little bit of nefarious intent here.
I mean, if you want, we could watch a quick little video if you got time on Balenciaga.
Yeah, I mean, how long is it?
17 minutes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's fucking do it, baby. This is from Paris. Sorry, this is from Paris Sky TV, one of my favorite channels on YouTube. And this breaks the whole Balenciaga thing down. Let's fucking do it. Look at us.
Yeah.
Look at us, motherfucker.
The rabbit hole is deep. I know. Here, before you play this, I was actually talking to a friend about like the whole Epstein files and how one of the witnesses says Trump wasn't involved and blah blah blah. And I go, hey, listen, this whole elite pedophile thing. I go, if you're actually trying to get into it, it's a lot deeper and scarier than you think. She goes, well, I think that they're all like kind of involved. I go, yeah, well, again, it's a lot deeper and scarier than you fucking think. You know? And
Well,
it is.
Send her our episodes.
Yeah, I know.
2022, world-renowned century-old high-fashion brand Balenciaga dropped their holiday season ad campaign for 2022, titled Gift Shop.
Okay, now pause it right. Hold on. Pause it on that image. Because now I just want to look what's in that fucking room.
Well, they're gonna break all this down. This is the
okay.
Yeah.
Titled Gift Shop. The campaign quickly went viral due to the public becoming concerned, then outraged, over the fact that the ad campaign was centered around photos featuring children holding teddy bears that had black eyes.
What's that?
No, I just noticed one of those influencers, Philip DeFranco. I used to watch him when I like first got on the internet. And I haven't seen him in so long, and he just popped up right there.
Yeah, I never watched his stuff. I remember he was like on Rogan a couple times though.
Was he really?
I'm pretty sure. That white guy?
Yeah, Philip DeFranco.
He's been on Rogan once, I'm pretty sure.
Fishnets, harnesses, or were overall BDSM themed. News sites almost immediately labeled the social media outrage as a wacky conspiracy theory, but this did not stop the iconic brand from making multiple apology statements and removing all of the advertisements. And in the following days, as people began to dig deeper into the company's internet activity over the years, the brand abruptly removed their Twitter handle and nuked their Instagram account, which is sitting at over 14 million followers. So, what were they trying to hide? Was this just a surface-level instance of bad taste, a reckless mistake, or a representation of a dark element among the elite inner...
Like, look at, like, the one thing... I know I've watched so many videos on Balenciaga. All of their fashion is, like, demonic looking.
Yeah.
Like, this right here is a woman walking at a fashion show.
Yeah, she looks like she's in a horror movie.
Yeah.
...circle of the fashion industry. In this video, I'll be covering every bit of relevant information I could find while watching this play out over the last couple weeks. Even if this were a one-time incident, I'd still have a lot of questions due to the amount of scrutiny and planning.
What the fuck? What is this art?
Yeah, no, it's not art. They call this fashion.
Yeah.
That goes into these luxury brand ad campaigns. Every detail is carefully pored over by artists, editors, designers, and often full committees to ensure success. Meaning that even if the gift shop holiday ad campaign pictures were the only issue, it would still be a major red flag. In a few moments, I'll highlight some of the strange references, of which there are many, in the holiday ad campaign photos. But first, let's take a look at the ad campaign that dropped 5 days after Gift Shop. This was the 2023 Guard Robe campaign. In my opinion, some of the most shocking details were found when visiting the website's homepage and saw the 2023 Guard Robe photos. The homepage featured this photo, a promotional image advertising a collaborative campaign with Adidas. As you can see, prominently featured in this image is this document. And to break it down simply while also trying not to upset the algorithm, the case document was from the United States v. Williams, a 2008 Supreme Court ruling that upheld part of a federal CP law known as the PROTECT Act, finding it was not in violation of the First Amendment right to free speech or expression. Basically, Michael Williams had been arrested for attempting to sell CP images of his minor daughter to an FBI agent. He was arrested and charged for possession and pandering. Williams tried to argue that his crime, trying to sell exploitative images of his underage daughter, was a protective freedom of expression of some kind under the PROTECT Act of 2003, which protected virtual or animated CP imagery as long as the images were not obscene. But the Supreme Court denied this challenge. So, of all the billions of pages of...
And that's the documents they decide to put in the fucking photo shoot.
And make that as part of the piece here.
Just a coincidence, folks.
Yeah, no, they
document.
just grabbed some random papers, I assure you.
Yeah, but put your focus on this dope bag that's probably fucking $1,300.
Yeah.
The one that shows up front and center in Balenciaga's ad campaign references virtual or animated CP as a protected free speech. What are the odds this was an accident, an oversight? Well, I think the odds get drastically worse when you look at the books in the background of one of the other images from the Garderobe campaign. The top book is by Michael Borman, who made an art book called Fire from the Sun. Just a warning, don't Google the title as the images may be disturbing. I can't risk showing any of Borman's work from Fire from the Sun because it all consists of children covered in blood, dismembered limbs, and similar disturbing, abusive iconography. Though not all of Borman's work is equally grotesque, much of it evokes a sense of dread and seems to be centered around submission, dismemberment, blood, shame, and ritual practices. One even shows men performing what looks like cannibalism. When Borman's work was shown at the David Zwirner Gallery, the gallery described Mr. Borman's paintings as, quote, toddlers engaged in playful but mysterious acts with sinister overtones and insinuations of violence.
And we're just supposed to think, what, that artist isn't a fucking psychopath pedophile?
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
Like, that guy had an art gallery?
Like, that's what's coming out of your brain? Like, yeah, I used to draw, like, skulls and zombies and shit. But what, like, 14-year-old didn't?
Yeah.
But, like, Christ almighty.
Yeah, but you're not drawing a picture of a 9-year-old with a black eye.
Yeah, or like
crying.
a baby with blood on its chest. Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck, bro?
Another book visible in the photo.
So another visible book in with the same
Great.
photo
What is
shoot.
it, fucking Mind Camp or something?
Is the
like,
Cremaster Cycle. The
almighty.
Cremaster Cycle is a series of 5 feature-length films, sculptures, photographs, drawings, and art books. Created by American artist Matthew Barney, the Cremaster Cycle was made over a period of 8 years, 1994 to 2002, and culminated in a major exhibition at the Guggenheim Museum. Supposedly, this was actually in conjunction with some of Michael Borman's paintings. Its concept is based on the male cremaster muscle, the primary function of which is to raise and lower the testes in response to temperature. The project is filled with anatomical allusions to the position of the reproductive organs during the embryonic process of sexual differentiation. So, the guy spent 8 years on a multimedia art show about nuts. The 2023 Garderobe campaign was massive and probably had a multi-million-dollar budget, a large staff of designers, administrators, editors, etc. A-list celebrities Nicole Kidman and Bella Hadid as models, and collaborated with one of the biggest name brands in the world, Adidas. Why risk this kind of backlash? Why include the Supreme Court ruling referencing CP? Of all the books to use as props, why use one where children are displayed, drenched in blood, without clothes, in horrifying circumstances? Well, some believe the answer lies with several elite individuals that work at different levels of the iconic fashion brand, from design to casting, having connections to a dark, seedy underworld of human trafficking and worse, unspeakable offenses. Before we explore those people, let's break down the images that started all of it, the initial clue that piqued the interest of concerned internet users in mid-November, the gift shop photo shoot. The first couple images of course show children posed with teddy bears that had black eyes, fishnet tops, leather harnesses, or a general BDSM theme, which obviously disturbed many people. It's very strange to think of combining children's items with adult items linked to sex acts, and then to have a child pose with it is at best in extremely poor taste. But this image alone is brimming with strange references. First, of course, we still have the inclusion of the BDSM bear, but look here. In the background, we see the chair has been covered in caution-style Balenciaga tape. In the foreground, we see a roll of the same Balenciaga tape, but it's not the same. This roll has an extra A, spelling Baal. Baal is a Canaanite deity dating back to Carthage in 800 BC, also sometimes referred to as Moloch. People were often worked up into great frenzies at the prospects of displeasing Baal, a god they believed could cause earthquakes and famine. In times of great turbulence, human sacrifices, particularly children, were made to this deity. The Carthaginians didn't want to sacrifice their own children, so eventually they began buying children or raising children as servants to be sacrificed in their own children's place. The mass ritualistic sacrifice of children to Baal was once thought to be a rumor, started by the Roman soldiers in order to make their enemies seem barbaric and cruel. According to the rumors, the children's ashen remains would be placed in small special urns and buried in the funerary Acropolis. However, during recent excavations, a great number of small urns were found covering the area of the funerary Acropolis, buried at 9 different levels, seemingly proving the early existence of Baal worship. To summarize, it's a bizarre inclusion in the same image as a young child. Up on the wall, to the left of the child, we can see a red face. Some theorists were quick to compare this face to the mythical rumored contents of a certain misplaced laptop. We aren't going there, for obvious reasons, but the blood-red face still seems disturbing and out of place. To the right on the wall, we have another odd drawing, this one again featuring the red face, or some kind of demonic horned creature. Then we have the white rabbit. And right above the white rabbit, we can observe probably the most overt example. But what does it all mean? These images feel off for obvious reasons. Some would look right past them, but many people immediately felt as though the brand had crossed a line. Maybe, by taking a look at some of the key players, we can get a better idea of what the intentions behind the photo shoots were. The first person Balenciaga began to shift the blame to was the gift shop photographer, Gabriel Galimberti. The photographer actually made a public statement to the media on November 23rd. Galimberti told Newsweek he is not responsible for the images. Quote, "I am not in a position to comment. I am not in a position to comment on Balenciaga's choices, but I must stress that I was not entitled in whatsoever manner to neither choose the products, nor the models, nor the combination of the same. As a photographer, I was only and solely requested to light the given scene and take shots according to my signature style, as usual. The direction of the campaign and of the shooting are not on the hands of the photographer." End quote. Galimberti previously published a photo collection titled Toy Stories that feature children in their home surrounded by their toys. He added to his statement, quote, "I suspect that any person prone to pedophilia searches on the web and has unfortunately a too easy access to images completely different than mine, absolutely explicit in their awful content. Lynchings like these are addressed against the wrong targets and distract from the real problem and criminals." End quote. Galimberti also stressed that he was not involved in the Balenciaga Adidas campaign that included the Supreme Court ruling and the art books. Those images were captured by New York City-based photographer Chris Maggio. At the time of recording this video, Maggio has not publicly addressed the backlash to his advertisements. But who is Maggio? Curious Light on Twitter found Maggio through Galimberti's mention of him, and found this photo shoot he did that features a young girl in similar framing to the gift shop photos, a woman with an uncanny valley look, and a picture of a Czech passport on top of a Disney Cruise Line pamphlet. According to some of their old itineraries, Disney Cruises used to use Little St. James Island as a snorkeling stop. During their search into the details of this photo set, Curious Light found that the photos had been styled by Lada Volkova, one of Balenciaga's main stylists, since 2014.
Yo, this bitch is evil as fuck.
Yeah, look at that.
And yo, her Instagram, since all this came out, is now private too, but she used to fucking parade all this shit.
Volkova maintained close ties to Gosha Rubchinsky, a streetwear designer that allegedly pressured a 16-year-old minor to send lewd pictures of himself over Instagram. The accusations seem to have been lost in the fray, as Gosha's representative told GQ he often casts young men through Instagram DMs, which according to him is standard. Volkova claims to not have worked closely with Balenciaga for some time, but has also said she works with the brand as a consultant, styling for collections, fashion shows, and in casting. Her style seems to be centered around violence, abuse, and domination, usually featuring very young-looking boys. Like when she posted pictures of a juvenile detention facility, and then what appeared to be real blood on the floor. Or what is obviously a young girl's bedroom, completely torn apart and covered in bloodstains. A completely photorealistic full frontal of a young boy who has been disemboweled. A young girl who has been taped to a chair. Or an illustration of someone taped face down on a table. Volkova also heavily features teddy bears, including one in bondage ropes. She even posted this image with the hashtag Moloch. A picture shared by Volkova depicts a monstrous bear in the process of consuming a girl. Another image features a creepy, dark, moldy room with a goat head on an upside-down pentagram. The common theme is seemingly constantly a child in danger, distress, or pain. She even posts an image that represents the brain's activity during a pain response. She pretty openly posts images of bathhouses, which are commonly used as brothels. One user speculates that she may be bringing these young boys to these locations. Just 2 hours after Curious Light posted the thread about Volkova, her Instagram went private. Granted, if you began receiving a litany of comments and DMs regarding a potentially career-ending scandal, you may act drastically as well. But there's something about Balenciaga and Volkova deleting their entire social media presences that screams they didn't find it all, get rid of any chance they might. Lada Volkova released a statement claiming that she has not worked with Balenciaga since 2017 and had nothing to do with the latest campaigns, but she has maintained a close relationship with Demna, the creative director at Balenciaga. Demna once said in an interview with GQ, someone wrote that Lada, Gosha, and I grew up on CP and radiation from Chernobyl, which is why we're all so fucked up. Just a month before the public backlash, Demna praised the brand's popularity, as well as his own, saying that he's no longer interested in making the fashion industry understand him, because the fashion elite now say hi to him. Jane Moseley walked Demna's first Balenciaga fashion show, which also happened to be Jane's first fashion show. But how could she possibly get the gig, modeling for the iconic brand Balenciaga, with zero experience? Jane got the gig through her friend, photographer, and casting agent Rachel Chandler. When Jane casually mentioned to Rachel that she was kind of interested in getting into modeling, Rachel replied immediately, telling Jane to send her some pictures because she was going to put her up for something. That something would turn out to be Demna's first Balenciaga fashion show. Rachel Chandler, daughter of the Chandler family that owned the LA Times for 100 years, apparently holds some mighty influence in the fashion industry, and it's heavily rumored that Rachel narrowly avoided being named publicly in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial as another madam, or procurer of young men and women, even children, to take to Little St. James Island. Here's a photo of Chandler, underage at the time, allegedly on the Lolita Express, Epstein's infamous private jet with former President Bill Clinton.
Yo.
Rachel seems to hold a high profile.
Oh, never mind. Different picture. Different picture.
Even if it's allegedly on the Lolita Express, like, so he says allegedly. So what if it's, even if it's not, what flight is that she's with Bill Clinton?
Yeah, no shit, I know.
While among the rich and famous, but is rather unknown among the general population. Many theorists have speculated that she may have led some to the island through her modeling agency, the Midland Agency. And if I wasn't paranoid enough, during my search for more mainstream coverage of Rachel, this happened. So what did Balenciaga's celebrity ambassadors have to say in response to the controversy? Well, maybe the most well-known, wealthy, and influential would be Kim Kardashian, who released this statement, which many seem to feel was kind of a lukewarm response, as she addresses that there is definitely an issue, but fails to draw any kind of line as far as her future with the company. I'm aware there are probably contracts and a lot of money on the line, but many were quick to point out that her comments seemed to ring quite hollow, as photos of her child surfaced showing them sporting the very items that Kim was now distancing herself from. Demna just copied and pasted the company's apology. I find it highly interesting that major news sites immediately reported on the scandal, labeling it as a conspiracy theory, when the company, representatives, and general public are all reacting to the situation like it is anything but a theory. People are worried for the children in the photos, of course, but if this is what they are showing you, what they are willing to put in front of public scrutiny, what are they hiding in the dark? Trying to wrap this video up feels very frustrating because, like many conspiracy theories, the rabbit hole is full of bad information, exaggeration, censorship, and parts of it are just gone, memory hold forever. There is no answer, only an ever-expanding list of connections to dirty money, trafficking, seemingly overt occult references, and some of the worst predators we've ever heard of. Whitney Webb has described Epstein as middle management in a network full of people just as bad as him and worse. We only ever heard about some of the things he did, and some of the things his madam Ghislaine Maxwell did. When you start with BDSM bears with kids, immediately followed by CP Supreme Court document, immediately find associated characters that seem to be very interested in representations of children that are obscene and graphic. I guess you shouldn't be surprised to learn that the creative director of said company is 1 degree of separation from a known trafficking network. If you're paranoid enough, you'd almost think that there is an element within the company that makes these clothes only the rich can afford, enjoy hiding Easter eggs, little nods and winks for the people with eyes to see, either to signal their friends or because they know people are watching, will react, and will eventually cause a media frenzy. Although this one went really far and seemed to work out poorly for the company, it still could have been a publicity stunt. What do you think of the ad campaign? Was it over the line, or are people well within their right minds to be upset over this?
What do you think, Lucas?
I mean, like I said, it's not a coincidence that they're putting this symbology in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not a coincidence. Balenciaga with 2 A's, Ball, Moloch.
Dude, somebody had to make the decision to spend the money to make that roll of caution tape say Ball.
And then put it there facing in that exact position was another person's decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Again, those papers, that's not a coincidence.
Yep. Those
They
books.
just like, hey, we got the file cabinets over here. Oh, this for some reason?
Yeah, and the
You
books
know?
too. The books with the artwork. That's not a coincidence.
Yeah, it's not.
Like all these people and their fucking artwork, it's not a coincidence.
It's not. It's really fucked up, and that's why I'm thinking it's part of this fucking like weird ancient religion.
Ancient families and shit.
You know, say adjacent to satanic, some type of something.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep.
I mean, they were talking about in Carthage how they used to sacrifice kids like that.
Mm-hmm.
They found the urns and everything. So who's to say that they're not still doing that?
Yeah, who's to say they ever stopped? Who's to say they ever? Who's to say they ever
Yeah,
stopped?
they're just doing it in different ways now. You know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something to like sacrificing the firstborn. I mean, shit.
Well, like I saw a good theory about saying, like, say for example, these like healthcare CEOs that deny people all this health coverage, like that's them symbolically making their sacrifice.
Hey, maybe.
You know. But yeah, man, that was a good way to wrap it all up.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit, man. That is some crazy shit. I mean, if you've made it this far, I mean, what do you think? I mean, I'm kind of getting into all this right now. I kind of got into it when we read the Franklin scandal there, or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
And that really opened my eyes up a little bit. And now we're just now I'm in this rabbit hole that I'm not sure if I can get out of.
Yeah, no, I've been into all this since like 2019, 20 when I first listened to the Franklin scandal.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, when I got Audible, the first 2 books I got were the Franklin scandal and the Bible.
Yeah.
And I have not looked back.
Yeah, no shit, man. No shit. Here we are.
Yeah.
You know, but
I'm gonna end this stream.
Okay.
We'll fucking go from there.